Hello, welcome to Pike Creek Farm. My name is Renee and I'm so happy you joined me today. If you've watched any of my videos recently, you know that we have 3 cherry trees on our property, and I'm not a huge fan of cherries. I made chocolate cherry jam that was wonderful. I made a cherry shrub. We've been eating the black cherries just off the tree and the yellow cherries. But I also have these tart pie cherries, and they're about done. I mean, I need to use them or lose them, basically. So believe it or not, I'm gonna make a cherry pie, a cherry crumb pie. I can't believe I'm gonna make it, but Jim has requested it and I have the cherries. So I was pretty excited this week. One of my friends, Darcy from Purposeful Pantry, tongue twister for me, Purposeful Pantry, who has a wonderful channel. Go check it. I'm sure most of you have because she has a lot of followers. She sent me a cherry pitter. It does 6 cherries at a time because I was pitting them all using a little paring knife and my hands turned a wonderful shade of reddish brown. So she sent me this. So I have to make a cherry pie now. I found a recipe that intrigues me though. It's a cherry crumb pie. So it's the cherry filling with the crumb top. So come along as I use this handy dandy cherry pitter. I'll show you how it works and attempt to make a cherry pie. We'll see. I probably have to go out and pick some more. So we'll see if I get enough cherries, but you'll see how this works. And if you like cherries, if you have a cherry tree, or if you like buying them at the market or at the farmer's market or the grocery store, wherever you buy them, and you want to bake with them, this is the real deal. So you put 6 cherries in the pitter, press down, and sometimes I've noticed like a cherry pit might be hanging underneath, so check them out. Empty them into the bowl. Empty that. This is a whole lot easier and faster than attacking them with a knife. So there's 6 there, so I'm just going to dump those in. If I don't get enough to make a pie, I'll make a crumble or something just to, whoop, that didn't. So empty those and see, here's the pits. I know my mother never had a cherry pitter, but she didn't make cherry desserts. Oops, one went on the floor. That one has a bad spot. So 6 pits. Get back, Missy. Get back. Oh, I don't have that lined up right there. Good to know that it doesn't go unless you have it lined up. And no pits hanging. Oh, there was one. I'm counting the pits in the bottom. So this is going to be pretty handy for pitting cherries. And I look forward to using it next year too when the trees all come into season. But the cherries aren't as mangled as when I did them by hand either. They ended up being halves and quarters, then not nice full cherries. How much do I have here? I have, if I gotta get the light right. I have about 2 cups And I think I need 5 cups to make this, so I need to pick more cherries. Okay, I am ready to go. Because of this, I would still be pitting cherries. These have all been rinsed, and I rinsed them again, and then I took paper towel and patted dry. That's what the directions said to do. This recipe is actually one I found that is like an old recipe. You know me, I love vintage recipes. I am just using a frozen crust. I have my oven on preheating to 300. This pie is baked low and slow, and it's supposed to keep the crust from burning and to make sure the fruit is done and thickened. So this is my first attempt, so we will find out. You're supposed to add 1 cup of sugar now and 1/2 cup of flour. And you can add almond or vanilla flavoring or both. I don't have any almond, so teaspoon and 1/2 of vanilla. And then you mix this all up and set it aside while you do the other parts of this. And it says do not fill the pie crust early, because that's what makes a soggy pie crust. The juices that would come out from this, you want it to be baking right away. So it also said that this basic recipe works with any other fruit. 5 cups of fruit with 1 cup of sugar and 1/2 cup of flour. So I'm going to set this aside. The next step is to put 3 tablespoons of butter in the bottom of your pie pan, your pie crust. So 1, 2, 3. Obviously, I don't want it to be a big chunk, so I will divvy it up now into little pieces. Then we will make the crumb topping. We don't want to put the cherries in until the oven is fully preheated and the topping is done, so we can put it together really fast and get it in there baking. It also recommends a cookie sheet underneath because it might drip. So if you're a person who likes cherries and want to use cherries in different recipes, get one of these. I am amazed at how much simpler it makes working with cherries. So next I'm going to get the ingredients for the crumb topping and we will make that. Next we need 1/3 cup of chilled butter. And I'm going to put the dry ingredients in first. 3/4 cup of flour. And 1/2 cup of sugar. I'm going to mix those together. Then I am going to slice this chilled butter into slices and we're going to cut it in. You can use a pastry cutter. You can use a fork, you can use 2 knives. Sometimes I even use my fingers a little at the end. But we want to get this so it looks like it's crumbled, like pea-sized pieces. You don't want to melt the butter. So that's the only thing about using your hands. So you gotta be careful to work fast and not overwork the butter. It's kind of crumbled up. It will kind of stick together, and that's the consistency you're looking for. So we're ready to put this pie together and get it in the oven. I'm going to give the cherries a stir. Everything started mixing together. I stirred down to the bottom to make sure all the flour was incorporated and the sugar. So now these cherries go on top. They are pretty. And now we take our crumb topping and just spread over the top. And this will bake for 1.5 hours to 2 hours. This will bake for 1.5 hours to 2 hours at 300. I know a lot of pies say to start off high, then go lower. This one gave reasons that made sense to me, that the fruit gets finished better and thickens up, and it all becomes incorporated better, that the crust doesn't get overdone. So there we go. Cherry crumb pie ready to go in the oven, and I'll bring you back when I pull it out. I set my oven for 90 minutes, 1.5 hours. I'll check it then, because it said 1.5 hours to 2. So we'll see how long it takes. And I'm sure it depends on the kind of pan you're using, your personal oven, how it heats up, and the exact amount of everything you have in there. But we'll find out. So here is the finished pie. Cut a piece and we'll see how it looks. Well, it kept its shape nice. It did thicken up. I'll take a little bite. It's not my favorite, but it is pretty. I know Jim's going to have some with some vanilla ice cream. Here we are. Cherry layer, streusel layer, crumb layer, I guess it's called. And I'm going to take a bite. Ooh, it's tart. There's that texture thing with cherries for me. But the flavor is really good. And thank you for stopping in. I'll put the link to the recipe down below. And she says it's good for any kind of fruit, and I can see it thickened up really nice. It's not runny when I cut into it. I do recommend it. I might like it better with peach. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time at Pike Creek Farm.